88, and we are going to hear from City Manager Mr. Shrout.
Mayor and members of council, related to the development of the area around 106th and Elm, it is staff's view that because nearly every other hard corner or signalized intersection within the city has been set aside for commercial development, it was appropriate and in line with city council policy dating back decades to allow commercial development on this corner as well. For example, the intersections of 91st and Elm, Main and Elm, 111th and Elm, 121st and Elm, 131st and Elm, 141st and Elm, 121st and Elwood, 131st and Harvard, and 141st and Harvard all have commercial contemplated at the intersections backing up to residential. In many instances, the commercial property backs up to a residential property with houses literally 30 feet away from the commercial property. With most houses at 106th and Elm, hundreds of feet from the proposed commercial development, we did not find a solid argument for not allowing commercial development based on proximity to residential property. I know traffic has been brought up as well, but with utilities being relocated for the widening of Elm from 111th to 131st, the existing bottleneck at 111th will soon be relieved. In addition, there are currently over 20,000 cars a day, or over 7 million annually, utilizing South Elm. An additional 100 or 200,000 cars visiting the potential commercial uses on an annual basis at 106th and Elm would have a minimal impact on traffic percentage-wise. My concern about potentially denying the change to commercial on the ranch property is that the Planning Commission approved the commercial use on the east side of Elm, but denied the commercial use on the west side. I have not identified a defensible legal argument for one side of the road being allowed commercial, while the ranch side would be denied those uses. So, due to the concerns of the citizens and our own concerns, the mayor and I reevaluated the potential uses for the ranch property. I visited the property and learned there is an 11,000 square foot multi-purpose gym, office, activity center on the property, as well as a 5,000 square foot barn and 2 residential structures totaling almost 5,000 square feet. The purpose of the ranch property could assist The purchase of the ranch property could assist the city with several concerns we have with our current facilities. The City Council has been working to identify a larger space for the senior citizens for the last decade. We thought we had settled on a location. If the police department were to move out of their existing building, renovations could be funded to retrofit that space for the seniors. However, we would need to identify a location for the police to move to. We thought it would make sense for PD to move into City Hall since that is where the existing jail and dispatch are located, and the department could be in one building. However, then we would need to identify where the staff that currently offices at City Hall could be relocated. In addition to this shuffling, the Jenks Chamber of Commerce is outgrowing their existing location at the Hive Building at 1st and Main. Compound that with the development we have planned on Main Street, and we also have an impending public parking shortage. As everyone is aware, we are currently working on the construction design of a new fire station to be located at Central Park. The new fire station will effectively eliminate one of our few public park spaces in Jenks. Listening to citizens, it was clear that parks and open spaces are a priority. That is why we thought it would be a good idea to create a new public open space. The ranch just so happens to offer space to accommodate a new public park, a new space for the Jenks Chamber of Commerce, and community to gather. Space at the Hive for the seniors to immediately begin utilizing, and even potential access to a huge conservation area northwest of the Turnpike owned by the Oklahoma Turnpike Authority. We thought we were proposing a solution that would alleviate citizen concerns with development of the ranch property while also providing a wonderful amenity to the entire community. Regarding concerns of the value of the purchase of the ranch property, there is an existing 11,000 square foot gym, office and recreation space, 2 residential buildings, a 5,000 square foot barn, and the sale includes all real and personal property on the land, including tractors and all contents of the gym, which would include a full weight room, basketball court, hoops, office furniture, TVs, pool table, shuffleboard, and other recreational equipment. Our architect has said the construction value of the gym is at least $2.5 million. Taking into account the gym, residential buildings, and the personal property, we can very conservatively value all of the improvements at $3 million. That leaves a $3.5 million value on 25 acres of land. Based on that, the land would be valued at $3.22 per foot. When the city acquired part of the trailer park property across the street on the east side of Elm through eminent domain in 2015, that property was valued at $3 a foot. The outlet mall and pickleball concept both purchased their property for over $5 per foot in 2019 and 2023 respectively. Land on Elm within the floodplain has been purchased for significantly more than that. Salad and Go paid $45 per foot for their land at Main and Elm. The purchase of the ranch property and any additional improvements is also reimbursable through the tax increment finance district. The money to purchase the ranch is proposed to be from a mix of federal CARES Act funds and federal ARPA funds. In order to fund a construction project with federal ARPA funds, we are required to follow federal guidelines set forth in Biden's Build America, Buy America program. The Build America, Buy America Act requires that all of the iron, steel, manufactured products, and construction materials be used in infrastructure projects are produced in the United States, as well as other federal restrictions. These requirements make construction projects using federal funds much more cumbersome, complicated, and expensive. That is why we think using the federal funds on a property with existing usable buildings is more practical than constructing buildings or other infrastructure with federal money. Finally, the purchase of the ranch property does not impact the timeline on any existing or planned project within the city, including the new fire station. The fire station is planned to be built across the street from City Hall in the existing Central Park. Because Central Park will be replaced with the fire station, we are proposing replacing Central Park with a portion of the ranch property. The fire station is in the construction design process. When the construction design is complete, it will be presented to the City Council for approval, bid, and construction will commence. We expect the design process will be complete by the end of the year. Although the city has an option to purchase the ranch, it is just that, an option. The City Council will take this issue up tonight and make a decision on whether to move forward with purchasing the property or not purchasing the property. Related to the property east of Elm, the property, meaning the property that was transferred to Oak Properties. The property transferred to the developer on the east side of Elm contains 28 acres of land that can be developed and 12 acres of land within the conservation easements. The land agreement stipulates the 12 acres in the conservation easements will go through the lot split process and be deeded back to the city. In addition, land behind Waterfront Grill and the Holiday Inn, previously owned by the developer, has been deeded to the city. In exchange for the property on Elm, the developer is responsible for developing a sales tax producing use, which would ultimately pay the city back for the property. If a sales tax producing use is not developed because of the developer fails to perform, or if the zoning is not approved, the riverfront land becomes the permanent property of the city, plus the developer pays the difference in value, if any. In addition to the protections spelled out in the property transfer contract, the city is eligible to be reimbursed for any expenses incurred related to the land transfer and/or development from the tax increment finance district. And so I read all that because I've seen a tremendous amount of speculation and basically outright lies on social media since this began. I know that it's been a challenge for us to communicate with the public on this issue because it's very complicated and it's not easily explained in a 2-sentence Facebook post. You know, I was hopeful that maybe there would be a little bit more patience in getting to this point where we could publicly discuss this in the council meeting. Anyone that has sent me an email, I have provided my phone number and asked them to call me and asked them to have meetings. I can't tell you the amount of time that I have spent meeting with citizens discussing this issue and trying to show that, you know, this is nothing nefarious is going on here. I do believe the value of that land is $6.5 million. I think that if the city does not purchase it, it will be either developed or purchased by another party. I think that if this is, you know, I respect the decision of the city council. If this is denied, I believe that the owner will either A, bring the continued land use item to city council on June 27th. The city council can deny that, but I don't think that there is any argument to a court that this particular intersection should not have commercial uses. And I think that a judge will overturn the city council's decision. So I think it's inevitable that this land will be commercial at some point, and it's a matter of when and not if. I think that the solution that we've provided, there are some items that we need to figure out, such as, you know, what type of park are we talking about? Does it remain open space, and kind of like basically what Central Park is, which is open space? And we need to figure out the ingress and egress, but I'm really asking the public to have patience, and I think that we can, that the public can be involved from the very beginning on this property. I know that we've heard that, at least the feedback to me has been, sometimes it seems like the decisions have already been worked through with staff and council before it comes before the public. And what I'm saying is this is an opportunity for the public to be involved from the very beginning. So that's kind of what I have to say presenting this item, and I'd be happy to answer any questions the council or the public may